age gap relationships always stir debate. In the Philippines, seeing couples with 10, 20, or even 30 years between them is common, but for many from Western cultures, it can trigger discomfort or suspicion. Is that reaction universal truth or cultural bias? Here, these relationships are often viewed as practical, even normal. So before we judge, we should ask, where do we draw the line? When does an age gap become too much? Is it really about age or more about power, intent, and genuine connection? Relationships aren't black and white. So what do you think? Are age gap relationships the personal choice to respect, or do they raise ethical concerns that can't be ignored? Everyone has an opinion on age gap relationships, some very strong ones, and that's fair. I'm not here to promote large age gaps or dictate what's right or wrong. My goal is to step back, look at the reality, and explore the reasons behind it. Would I question a 70-year-old dating a 20-year-old? Absolutely. Most of us would. But is that just cultural bias? And if so, should we be so quick to judge? What intrigues me is how firmly people stand on this issue. Some say anything beyond a 10-year gap is too much, while others believe that as long as both are consenting adults, it's no one else's business. So where do we draw the line? And more importantly, who gets to decide? After speaking with couples in large age gap relationships, one thing became clear. Everyone has an opinion, and no two are exactly alike. Reactions were intense. Some clung to the half your age plus 7 rule as if it were law. Others insisted a 20-year gap was immoral. Some Western men even compared it to dating one's own daughter, saying it just looks wrong. But here's what struck me. Few could explain why. Their reasoning often boiled down to personal preference, cultural norms, or gut instinct rather than any universal truth. If 20 years is the limit, what makes 21 suddenly unethical? If not, why is 20 the magic number? This proves how subjective the debate is. What's normal in one culture may be unthinkable in another. So are we really discussing ethics or just disguising personal biases as moral truths? Age gap relationships have no universal rule. No formula can dictate the right number of years between two people. It's entirely subjective. Legally, the age of consent sets the boundary, but beyond that, moral judgments are personal beliefs. So if two consenting adults choose to be together, who decides it's wrong? Clearly, both partners find value in the relationship. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in it. Here's where it gets interesting. Are these relationships just about money, security, and companionship, or is there more to it? Are the benefits more complex than we assume? Are the challenges greater than we realize? And how much do cultural perspectives shape our views? What's normal in one society might be frowned upon or even celebrated in another. So, is this really about morality? Or just cultural perception and personal bias? A survey of 3,000 Americans found that couples with a 10-year age gap were 39% more likely to break up, and with a 20-year gap, the failure rate soared to 95%. On the surface, that's strong evidence against age gap relationships. But here's the catch. This study was done in the West, where societal pressure adds strain. Constant judgment can wear couples down. In the Philippines, however, the cultural landscape is entirely different. Being with an older foreigner often draws envy, not judgment. But why don't we see as many older Filipino men with younger women? 2 main reasons. 1, marriage laws. By 40, most Filipino men are already married. With no divorce in the Philippines, dating them is complicated, and relationships with younger women are often assumed to be affairs. 2, status and security. Foreigners are seen as a symbol of stability. A younger woman isn't just choosing a partner. She's securing a better future. And in a practical culture like the Philippines, that's widely accepted. Let's talk about the real concern, financial coercion. Critics argue that when a younger, less wealthy woman pairs with an older, wealthier man, it creates a power imbalance that invites manipulation. But here's the thing. Control isn't about age. It's about power. A younger, rich man can be just as controlling as an older one. So what's the real issue? Many assume a younger woman must be after money. While that stereotype exists in the West, it doesn't necessarily apply in the Philippines, where relationships follow different cultural values. Here, love matters, but so do stability, security, and a shared future. A younger woman may value an older man for more than his wealth. His maturity, life experience, and emotional stability matter too. If this seems hard to believe, it's likely because you're viewing it through a Western lens. But in the Philippines, age gap relationships aren't just accepted, they're understood. So, is it really about age? Or about what each person brings to the relationship? Before judging, maybe we should question our own assumptions. One common criticism of age gap relationships is the supposed lack of shared interests. What could a man in his 50s possibly have in common with a woman in her 20s? Isn't she looking for adventure while he prefers quiet nights? Wouldn't she find his lifestyle boring? It's a fair question, but also a simplistic one. Age doesn't dictate personality, values, or desires. Some younger women prefer deep conversations over partying, and some older men still crave excitement. Compatibility isn't about numbers. It's about energy, mindset, and connection. For most Filipinos, happiness isn't about chasing constant thrills. We find joy in life's simple moments, tucking on the balcony, watching a movie, or taking a quiet walk with someone we love. It's not about age. It's about what truly matters. If you have a Filipina partner, you've likely noticed happiness isn't about extravagant dates. A cup of milk tea and a walk on the beach can mean more than the fanciest night out. It's never about money. It's about connection. And if you think an older Filipina guarantees compatibility, think again. Age doesn't automatically mean deeper conversations or shared interests. Many older Filipinas, especially from rural areas, may have limited English or life experiences, making meaningful discussions just as challenging as with a younger partner. True compatibility isn't about age. It's about connection, communication, and values. Whether she's 20 or 50, what matters is how well you complement each other. Because relationships thrive on more than just numbers. One of the biggest deal breakers in age gap relationships is the question of having kids. For many Filipinos, having children is a given, making it a crucial factor in age gap relationships. The challenge? Not every older partner is on the same page. Some are upfront about not wanting kids, others are open to it, and some see it as a final legacy before their time runs out. The real issue isn't age, it's mismatched expectations. If one partner wants children and the other doesn't, resentment is inevitable. That's why open, honest conversations early on are essential. Biology also plays a role. While men can fodder children well into old age, female fertility declines sharply after 35 and is nearly gone by menopause. A younger wife is more likely to conceive and has the energy to raise kids. Beyond reproduction, there's also an intimacy gap. While menopause often reduces a woman's libido, men remain sexually active much longer, sometimes leading to frustration in same-age relationships. Age gap relationships naturally bridge these gaps, aligning reproductive goals, intimacy needs, and long-term companionship. It's not just about children, it's about compatibility in every stage of life. Despite societal skepticism, relationships are personal. Whether shaped by biology, culture, or individual preference, people seek partners who complement their needs, regardless of age. In the Philippines, age gap relationships are common, influenced by culture and practicality. Unlike in the West, where divorce allows older women to re-enter the dating pool, its absence here means many remain legally bound to past partners. As a result, younger women often become the natural choice for men seeking relationships. For many Filipinos, an older partner offers stability, both financial and emotional. In a country where financial security isn't guaranteed, choosing a stable partner isn't gold digging, it's practical. Studies show that financial stability strengthens relationships, reducing stress and conflict. Maturity is another factor. Many younger women value men who are responsible and past the phase of reckless decisions. Too often, young men walk away when responsibilities arise, a reality every Filipina understands. In contrast, older partners tend to be more committed and dependable. Ultimately, age gap relationships in the Philippines aren't about exploitation or societal pressure. They're about mutual benefit, shared goals, and a deeper understanding of what truly matters in a partnership. Beyond financial security and emotional stability, many Filipinas value the mentor effect in age gap relationships. A mature partner brings life experience, wisdom, and a broader perspective, offering insights into financial responsibility, emotional intelligence, and even business, lessons a younger local partner may not provide. Of course, not every older man is a mentor, nor are all intentions pure. But when the dynamic is built on mutual growth and opportunity, it becomes more than just stability. It's a partnership. If a man seeks youth for its own sake, that's a fair concern. But if he's drawn to love, respect, and meaningful connection and finds it with a younger woman, who's to say it's wrong? This isn't about promoting age gaps. It's about understanding cultural realities. Love and compatibility go beyond numbers. What matters is what works for those involved. The Philippines isn't the West, and our goal is to shed light on why. No judgment. People are free to choose as long as it's legal and built on mutual respect. What's your take? Do you agree or see it differently? Share your thoughts below.